Sports with Joe.
How's it going, everybody? Sports with Josh here on AM 970. Today we have a guest, Anthony Rodriguez from NFLTradeRumors.com. He's out of Florida. How you doing, Anthony?
Good. How are you, Josh?
Not too bad, not too bad. Listen, anyone in the NFL, any NFL fans, all the analysts on ESPN, myself included, all they want to talk about right now is the Peyton Manning story. Peyton Manning, obviously, the Colts let him go a couple weeks ago. They parted ways, going to build for the future and draft Andrew Luck. And so Peyton Manning went around team to team and finally chose the Broncos to play the probably 3 years or 4 years that he has left. He actually signed a 5-year, $96 million deal with the Broncos. Now that the Broncos have signed Peyton Manning, do you think that the Broncos are going to try and go after any other key players that they could put around Manning to make the team more of a title contender, or do you think they'll probably stay put with what they have right now?
Well, the Broncos have already made several moves, bringing in tight ends Joel Dreesen, Jacob Tamme, wide receiver Andre Caldwell. So they are providing more weapons for Manning to utilize in their offense. But I don't really see any more, major splashes going on. I feel like, they have some reliable weapons, and I think Manning will be able to spread the ball around to all those receivers, just like he did with the Colts.
Okay, now the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Wallace, they have tendered him for a first-round pick. Basically what that means is the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have a lot of salary cap. They don't have enough salary cap to re-sign Wallace. So a team like Denver could make an offer to Mike Wallace, and Pittsburgh can either match that, or if they don't match it, then Pittsburgh would go to Denver, and the Steelers would get Denver's first-round pick, which in this case is the 25th overall pick. Would you see the Broncos surrendering the 25th overall pick for Mike Wallace, or do you think they'd stay away from him?
Well, Josh, I'm not too sure the Broncos will make that deal, simply because Wallace is reportedly looking to land Larry Fitzgerald type money, and I just don't see the Broncos investing in so much money into a young and talented player. But I feel like like I said earlier, they do have some weapons they can work with. Demarius Thomas, he showed a little bit of what he can do last season. Eric Decker, Willis. Now they've added, Caldwell and Dreesen and Tamme. So, I really don't see that happening. I see them, saving their draft pick and maybe using it to bolster their defense in the upcoming draft.
And speaking of Demarius Thomas, he really had a breakout year that was with Tim Tebow behind center, who statistically was the worst quarterback in the NFL last year. So do you think with Peyton behind center, Demarius Thomas could have a Pro Bowl year?
Even from, fantasy football perspective, I think he's going to have a great year. I mean, anytime you have a quarterback like Peyton Manning, you're obviously going to do well. Now that he is becoming more healthy and he can, hopefully get back to the old Peyton Manning, I truly believe that you're going to see some big numbers out of Demarius Thomas next season.
All right, and it's going to be fun to watch. Like most of my listeners know, I'm a huge Broncos fan, so obviously a little bit excited for this upcoming season. Now, you're from Florida, but you are a New York Jets fan.
That's correct.
So you actually took Tebow from us for a 4th and 6th round pick. It's a lot of Jets fans are skeptical about this. Were you happy with the pickup of Tebow?
I think it's kind of those wait and see kind of things. I do like Tebow. He's very athletic. He's a competitor. He really can bring a lot to a football team, and he's just very explosive. And he's also a leader. And I think that'll work out well for him and the Jets. I'm excited to see what kind of packages, formations, and stuff they'll use him in next season. And I truly do look forward to seeing how things play out next year.
And now the problem last year with the Jets was they lacked chemistry in their locker room. Santonio Holmes came out and pretty much said, I don't want to play New York anymore. Not basically in those words, but with Rex Ryan so invested in Mark Sanchez, but the New York Jets fan base obviously wanted Mark Sanchez out of New York last year. In Denver with Orton, it was kind of the same scenario because the fans just didn't like Orton. Orton wasn't getting the job done. So do you think Mark Sanchez is in a situation where he throws one interception and the entire city of New York starts chanting for Tebow? Do you think Tebow's going to go in there and actually help that locker room chemistry and help the team, or you think he's going to drive a wedge between the fans and Mark Sanchez in that whole situation?
I truly believe it's going to be one of those wait and see, how it plays out type of things, because Tebow is such a fan favorite. Look what he did last season for the Broncos. Just a tremendous run for them last year. And, I do see that, where the point comes out that, if Mark Sanchez does start to play poorly, you're probably going to hear a lot of the fans start cheering for Tebow and, give him a chance. And because, Mark Sanchez did start off well in his first 2 seasons, but last year he did regress. And, in New York, you're always going to hear it, so.
Okay, now, if you had to pick a Super Bowl winner today, right now, without looking at any upcoming trades or upcoming free agent signings, you got to pick a Super Bowl winner right now. Who are you taking?
Oh wow, that's a tough question. I like the Eagles coming out of the NFC. I know they did struggle last year, but you look at the talent they have. I mean, Colin Jenkins on the defense, Nnamdi Asomugha. They've got a lot of playmakers. They recently traded for D'Amico Ryans. Their offense is so explosive. Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Maclin, of course, Michael Vick, Shady McCoy. They've really got a talented team. And I know they didn't, play too well last season, but I truly believe that they might, turn things around and, actually make it happen this year because they're just very talented.
All right, once again, we got Anthony Rodriguez from NFLTradeRumors.com on with us. Where can tell us about the site that you write for? Where can listeners go on and read your stuff?
Sure. It's www.nfltraderumors.co. We basically cover, all trade rumors, all, player news, anything that's going on, we're right on it. We're getting it out there to the fans as quickly as possible. Just putting everything out there for everybody to see, offering insight, opinion sometimes, and, just basically getting that info out there as fast as we can, so people can find out what's going on.
All right, and once again, that was NFLTradeRumors.co. Now, it is March, so I got to ask before I let you go, how's your bracket looking? Because personally, mine's been busted for a while.
I'm happy to say my bracket is a lot better than last year. Last year I tend to pick too many upsets and, try to go with too many underdogs and stuff like that. So this year, Kentucky's still alive. I actually have Kentucky winning the whole thing this year, so, hopefully that plays out. I also had Baylor in a Final Four. It's been an exciting year, and, my bracket is still alive, so, and I've got a couple teams that are still going. So, like I said, I do have Kentucky winning it also. Hopefully that plays out.
Yeah, I got Kentucky as well. A couple more games going on later today, so it's going to be interesting to see. Well, listen, Anthony, it's been great to have you on the show. Thanks for talking with us. Sports with Josh, everybody. Once again, that was Anthony Rodriguez. Remember, you could read his articles on NFLTradeRumors.co. Also, you can follow him on Twitter at AR_sports report. Follow him on Twitter. Check out the website. Sports with Josh, everybody.